We've gone rogue. We're off-road now. I think we've just thrown all to the wind. But I want to thank everybody. I'm just going to ask Laura to stay with her mic because she's going to introduce the video to be efficient with our time. I thank the rest of the panelists. And then Ivory will set up our poll everywhere to get some reactions from this panel, which was very interesting and way too short. So we will get some, through poll everywhere, get people's ideas.
So I'm going to introduce the next video in the series. I wanted to take a moment first, though, to just apologize. I didn't introduce all of the Push Buffalo folks in the room. So we have Jen McCosey, if I'm saying that right, and Clarke Gawker, as well as Aaron Bartley. So thank you all for being here. So the next video is on IndyCAN, which stands for Indianapolis Congregation Action Network, and we heard from Reverend Duard Barnes earlier a little bit about that program. They are a community organizing group that works in faith-based communities. Duard, is there anyone else from IndyCAN here with you? Okay, so just Duard. Welcome, thank you for being here. Okay, so enjoy the film.
This neighborhood is called Unwa, United Northwest area. It's just north of downtown in Indianapolis. It's hugely African American, very poor. And every year in this neighborhood, about 236 out of every 1,000 men under the age of 35 will go to jail. It's an incredibly high number. And so you're in the middle of a neighborhood that is in crisis. IndyCAN is a movement for racial and economic dignity. We address issues that the most marginalized people in the community are facing. We do a lot of what we call listening campaigns, talking to people in the streets. We work with immigration, we work with mental health, and we also work on criminal justice reform. One of the things we do is a lot of research. And what we found was that 40% of all the people in Marion County Jail have a mental health diagnosis. That's a really bad thing because what happens is police are engaging people with mental health issues in the streets. People are arrested, they're put in jail, and so our jails are just inundated with people who either shouldn't be there at all or definitely shouldn't be there for the length of time that they're there.
This is James. He probably was 5 years older. James is my grandson. You see, he was a happy kid. See that smile? That's my baby. At the age of 19, his father started noticing his illness. He was just laying around the house and his behavior was different. He would get angry and curse and he talks to himself. It was hard to control. He was diagnosed as bipolar with schizophrenia. The first time he was arrested, he was arguing with his sister over $5. He said she owed her, and they called the police because he got loud. And so they arrested him, and they took him downtown and kept him, I think he stayed 3 days, and they let him out. And then he got locked up for trespassing. So it's just been, he gets locked up. They keep him 2 or 3 weeks, and he's not getting help. The locking up is not helping him.
The main problem with criminal justice is that there's no training for police, and there's no facility to put people in, and there's no vision anywhere for mental health. And for instance, a few years ago, our mayor decided he was going to build a criminal justice center that was ultimately going to cost about $1.75 billion. Mental health was not attached to the plan.
They were talking about adding 1,500 more beds to the jail that was only aimed in locking up people. So we decided we don't need a jail, we need help for the mentally ill and the addicted. So we fought for that. We start calling people, we start engaging people at church, inviting them to meetings. And we met with the city councilman and I spoke and they voted against it. We won.
We build power through our membership, and it's our ability to move that policy through civic engagement, engaging city officials through our base that helps us to do great work for our community. And now nobody talks about criminal justice reform in Marion County without talking about mental health, without talking about transitional jobs, or having policemen take crisis intervention training. And so it's no more lock 'em up. It's all about how do we change this system long term.
IndyCAN, to me, gave us a voice. You know, grandmas and mothers and clergy, when those people come together, we can make a difference.
So there we go, another inspirational video. Again, thank you, Sarah, communications team here. Just really phenomenal to bring these communities to life. So Ivory is going to be putting up a poll everywhere, but there is someone else from our team who you've not yet met, and this is one of the newest members of our team, Derek Somerville. And he, after the poll everywhere, he is going to report out and he'll read some of the responses after your table discussions and so forth. And Derek is really interesting because he brings a new discipline to our room today. He has his Master's of Science in Park Recreation and Tourism Management from Clemson University, and he's worked from coast to coast. So he's worked from University of Southern California as the Assistant Director of Athletic Compliance, to Townsend University, to Clemson, and of course, University of South Carolina, where my daughter goes. Go Gamecocks. Okay.
So as we sit here and read the responses, I would really encourage everybody at the table to kind of speak amongst one another and really see what these responses mean to you individually and as a group at large, just so everybody can get an idea of how everybody reacts to these responses a little bit differently and get a new aspect of just where other people are coming from. So the question is, how do your communities communicate about health equity and a culture of health? So far, we have access and exposure, community symposiums, local newspapers, town council meetings, lectures, community health workers, social media is a big one, monthly community meetings, social media again. So please feel free to go ahead and start communicating with people at your table. I know you've become friends with them throughout the day. Please do not be shy about sharing your feelings and really opening up that dialogue. And as you communicate, I'll just continue to read out some of the responses that we've gotten. Monthly community conversation meetings, awareness through the social media. Got town hall meetings, dialogue at parties.